So here we have the finished version, and I noticed when I got done with all of this, I actually should have made this to where it has a lid. It is what it is. I'll know for the next time. But, you know, I've got a nice, interesting sky going on. This area would be my foreground. The mountainous area is my middle ground, and of course my sky is my background. So as I was working on the sky, I actually did a couple of practice ones first, just to try to get an idea about how I actually wanted to do the sky. So a couple different ways to do it. You can do it like this, to where it's like little blobs of color. You could do it like this, to where it's kind of striped. You can go with all warm colors, all cool colors. You know, it's totally up to you. So what we did for you is we cut 2 smaller pieces of watercolor paper that are this size. And the X's are the sides that you don't want to paint on. And you can do it, if you want to do it like the blobby way, I'll even show you with different colors. Let's see. And remember, these are watercolor cakes. So the only way you're gonna make them work is if you add water. And once you get a little bit on there, you can actually kind of go through and just add more water to it if it seems really dark. This was a little bit dark, so I'm kind of adding more. If you think back to when you did your skies for the cactus artwork, you can kind of stick with that kind of thing if you want to. If you want it to be a little more unrealistic, that's fine too. Oops, that was purple. So all I'm doing is kind of blobbing color on here. I do think it works better if you kind of use colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. Like, I wouldn't want to just throw in yellow right here, because I would have green. I don't know, maybe that's kind of what you're shooting for, but that's why we have these practice ones, so you can get a chance to see what you like and what you don't like. You can add a little more water instead of paint, and you get places where it's going to be lighter, like right through here. You can layer it up. You can go back and add more after the fact. It's really up to you on how you want to do it. I actually, on one of my practice ones, kind of let things dry a little bit and then went back and added more paint in places I felt like it needed it. A lot of red in the sky. I think I'm going to add some more blue. Kind of have like a red violet thing going on here. When you do get done with the watercolors, you need to make sure that you are not tipping them back and forth. You want to keep them straight, because if you're tipping them, they're just going to end up combining and spilling everywhere, and it'll be a big mess. So, you know, you could do something like this in the sky. Now this is curling up because the whole piece of paper is really wet. When you're using the big piece of paper with your bottle on it, it should not curl up like this. So there's one way of doing it. Another way would be to just kind of have the colors fading in and out in a more kind of stripy fashion, I guess. You can even try getting your watercolor paper wet with just water first. This is called wet on wet. And it allows for not quite as bright colors, and the color does spread more. I kind of like the brighter colors rather than the more washed out look. So here I'm getting my red, and that would naturally fade into orange. So remember, you want to get plenty of water on there because these won't work without water. And I'm overlapping the orange with the red. You can even kind of go up, you know, it doesn't have to be like a perfectly straight line. We talked a lot about in 6th grade, if you did the cactus project, not making stripes in the sky and really blending your colors. And I'm doing this pretty quick, so you would obviously want to take a little more time with it, because if you're going this fast, you're probably not doing as good of a job as you could be doing. I'm going to throw in some yellow because none of those actually had yellow in them. Get that down here at the bottom. You do want to make sure you're rinsing your brush in between each color change. That's how these get super messy, and I just went through and washed them all and cleaned them all out, so I'd like to keep them a little bit clean. So this is just another example of how you could do it, but you're going to be getting these to practice on, and then we'll do something with these after the fact too. So that's how you work on your sky. Again, here's some different options. Okay, and then my big finished project that I actually just smeared some paint on. So I do think it looks better when it has the lid on it, but that's where we're at with this project.